Hello everyone. So in this video of simulation action override, we are going to discuss the last category, and it is through the command line. So you don't need to write the modifications in your code again and do the compilation again. So let's begin. So it is pretty similar to what we did with severity and verbosity override. So first, just to make sure, because I commented my previous modifications during my last lecture, so I would just compile it again. Now, during the simulation command vsim, we will add some arguments, and the argument is pretty simple. Just have to write UVM set action, and even the following arguments are pretty straightforward. So the very first argument is going to be the hierarchical reference which you are targeting. So let's say anything under UVM desktop should be targeted. Then the second argument is going to be the ID. We could just simply write all, which will target all the hierarchy, all the IDs globally. And the third argument is going to be the targeted uh, severity. So let's say we are targeting UVM info, and the fourth and final argument is going to be the desired simulation action. And let's say we want to assign UVM count, and UVM display. So we have assigned UVM count and UVM display. So let's check our arguments again. UVM desktop all, which basically means that all the IDs will be referred. Then UVM info will be replaced. I mean, the simulation action of the UVM info reporting macros will be replaced, and it will be replaced with UVM count plus UVM display. Okay, just a second. Oh, I forgot to mention the top module. Okay, in the meantime, I just want to recall it that I did set the max number of bit counts to be 5. So right after we receive our very sixth UVM info all around the test bench, the simulation should terminate. Let's run it. Okay, let's see what is happening right here. So you can clearly see it in the UVM report summary that our quit count is getting incremented, and it did increment 5 out of 5 times. And just to make sure, I have commented all my previous simulation action override methods. So this was the effect of what we did in the command line. So here you could see that we did get 8 UVM info in totals, and the 3 of them are from the libraries themselves, and they will always execute regardless of whatever you set, whatever stuff you set, whatever verbosity or threshold you set. And the other than that, we receive a total number of 5 UVM info macro from each of the class, and 6, because right after receiving the sixth one, the simulation terminates. So yeah, you could do separate of this, several of this stuff, and you don't have to do the modifications within your code. So other than that, what I will do, I would like to compare it that whether this take precedence over the one which we have written inside the code. So I will just remove the comment, And here you could see that we have a severity method set for the UVM info for the monitor ID, and for that particular ID I have set as UVM action, no action, which basically means that it will do nothing and it will be ignored. And so to target the same uh, severity and the same ID, I will write the similar thing in my command line, and then we will check then that which will take precedence over the other. So here you could see that it is UVM info and all the UVM info macros inside uh, with the monitor ID, which is basically inside the monitor component, will get their severity action replaced with UVM no action. And we will counter that in our command line. But since first we made this modification, we have to compile the code to make this into the effect. And right after that, I will start the simulation, but with argument UVM set action. Okay, so our very first argument will be the hierarchical reference, and let's keep the same reference, anything under test top or the test component. Okay, here I should write, yeah, it's correct. And right after the test top, we should write the targeted ID. In our case, it should be monitor. And right after that, we should write the targeted severity. It should be UVM info. And let's just say here in our code, it is no action. And here we will just write UVM count. And let's also include display, the UVM display. So we are referencing anything under the UVM test, and underneath it, we are targeting the IDs of monitor, and then we are targeting the UVM info severity, and then we are replacing the simulation action with UVM count, which will which should quit the simulation after 5 occurrences, and then UVM display. So let's start the simulation engine. So if the simulation terminates after 5 occurrences of counts, or if there are any occurrences of count, then it is evident that the command line will have higher precedence over the one which we wrote in the code. But if nothing happens and the UVM info inside the monitor does not display on the command line or on the transcript, then then this has higher priority than the one in the command line. Let's run the simulation. Okay, as you can see that the quit count did not get incremented, and the entire sequences are executed. All of the 10 sequences are executed, but you could not find any of the UVM info from monitor, and it is because this one is taking precedence over the command line one. So that's all about the simulation action override method. So uh, we have discussed all the main important things like verbosity, severity, and simulation action, and also the means to override those particular stuff. So in my upcoming lecture, I will be discussing a pretty critical use of simulation action override, in which we will override the simulation action of the desired ID or the targeted severity with UVM log, and we will use that to create files which will have all the messages of those reporting macros. So it will simply catch it and it will write it on a new file. So stay tuned for more, and thank you so much.